COVID-19 recovery is now more than 3 times the active cases with over 23,30,000 recoveries so far. Fatality rate further falls to 1.85%. Global case tally crosses the grim milestone of 2 crore 35 lakh cases with over 8 lakh fatalities worldwide. Flood situation in Bihar continues to remain grim with over 83 lakh people in 16 districts affected. Uttar Pradesh also faces flood fury and state government sets 2,000 relief camps for affected people. Heavy rains inundate low-lying areas of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi pays tribute to former Finance Minister and friend Arun Jaitley on his first death anniversary. Home Minister Amit Shah calls him a friend of friends and politician without parallel in Indian polity. The leadership crisis again shakes the Congress party as senior Congress leaders write to Sonia Gandhi demanding a full-time leader ahead of today's key CWC meet. The leaders also demand complete overhaul of the organizational structure. US President Donald Trump announces emergency use authorization by FDA for a convalescent plasma treatment, calls it a historic announcement, claiming 35% reduction in mortality. And in sports, Bayern Munich defeat Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 in a tightly contested Champions League final. Kingsley Coman scores the winning goal as German club win a treble this season, lift the European Cup for the 6th time. Good morning, welcome to English News. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. First, a look at the updates on COVID-19 from across the country. The recovery rate has crossed 75%, while the case fatality rate has also dropped to 1.85%. 57,469 recoveries were recorded on Sunday, taking the cumulative total of those recovered patients to 23,38,035. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 75.27%. India's three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat is proving to be a success. The fatality rate has dropped to 1.85% with 57,542 deaths reported so far. The number of active COVID-19 cases in India stand at 7,10,771, which is 22.88% of the total cases reported so far. Further, according to the Indian Council of Medical Research, that's ICMR, the total number of samples tested up to 23rd of August is 3,59,02,137. That includes 6,09,917 samples tested on Sunday. Meanwhile, aggressive testing has led to early identification and isolation of COVID-19 positive cases. In a tweet, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare said the gap between recoveries and COVID-19 active cases continue to widen. The recoveries are more than 3 times the active cases. And now an update from flood and rain situation across the country. The flood situation in Bihar remains grim with several rivers still flowing above danger level. This has resulted in heavy water discharge from the Gandak and Koshi barrage. The river Ganga is also flowing above the danger mark in many places. More than 83 lakh population of 16 districts of the state of Bihar are affected by the floods. The relief work is in full swing as 26 teams of the NDRF and SDRF are engaged in relief and rescue operations, while boat ambulances have been introduced in Khagadia to treat animals living in the stranded water. Moving to Uttar Pradesh, where 1,090 villages in 16 districts have been affected by floods. River Sharda, Rapti, Sarayu are all flowing above the danger mark. The Chief Minister of the state, Yogi Adityanath, has instructed district magistrates to provide materials through boats in flood-affected areas. 15 teams of NDRF and 7 teams of SDRF and PAC have been deployed in the flood-affected districts for rescue measures. Moving to central part of India, heavy rains inundated low-lying areas in several parts of Madhya Pradesh. The Met Department has issued a red alert for heavy rain in the western part of the state, including Bhopal, Indore and Sehor. Due to the increase in water level, barrage gates are being opened from time to time. The state government has issued instructions to the district collectors to set up 24-hour disaster relief teams, while the Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has directed district collectors to remain in constant contact for quick relief measures. Heavy rainfall has lashed several parts of Gujarat. Chief Secretary Anil Mukim chaired a meeting with officials at the State Emergency Centre in Gandhinagar to view the preparedness. Saurashtra and Kutch have been receiving widespread rainfall, while the Machuchu Dam at Morbi in Gujarat overflows, leading to the opening of 12 gates of the dam. A number of tehsils in the district have received heavy rainfall, with villages submerged in rainwater. One NDRF team has been deployed in each tehsil, and primary schools are being converted into relief centers. A bridge connecting Morbi and Jamnagar has also collapsed, cutting off road transportation between the districts. Rajkot has also been receiving incessant rainfall, leading to waterlogging in several areas. Also, Khadi in Mehsana district received 11-inch rainfall in a day. NDRF teams have been deployed in the region to shift people from low-lying areas to secure places. Patan district has also received good rainfall owing to a rise in the water level of Rani Ki Vav. With increased rainfall activity during the weekend, number of dams in Gujarat are filling up to the maximum capacity and have also been put on high alert. 13 NDRF teams have been deployed across the state. The Met Department has predicted heavy to extremely heavy rainfall in many districts till Tuesday morning. Moving to eastern India, in West Bengal, Met Department has predicted heavy rainfalls in South 24 Pargana, East and West Midnapur, Jhargram, Purulia and Bankura districts for the next 2 days. Today is the first death anniversary of Arun Jaitley, who held the portfolios of Defence, Finance and Corporate Affairs and Information and Broadcasting as part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet. He was one of Bharatiya Janata Party's tallest figures and a key architect of its campaign strategy across elections. He fiercely attacked the UPA government on corruption allegations and policy paralysis.
A noted legal luminary, an affable and highly skilled politician, the late Arun Jaitley is a name in Indian politics who started his career as a student leader from Delhi University. The journey from a student leader to a defense minister and a finance minister effectively tells the story of his personality. Arun Jaitley, who held portfolios of defense, finance and corporate affairs and information and broadcasting as a part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet, was an astute politician who will always be remembered as a troubleshooter and one who could win over everyone, even across party lines. Late Arun Jaitley also handled many ministries, including the Law Ministry in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. Arun Jaitley's brilliant innings as the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha comes to mind often. He not only raised a voice in Parliament against UPA government on the 2G and coal scam, but also played an effective role in spurring the movement against corruption across the country. Arun Jaitley, who was a senior advocate in the Supreme Court, was a skilled orator who, by his eloquence, made a mark as a leader of the opposition. Arun Jaitley was a politician whose relationship with leaders of all parties was unique. The late Arun Jaitley, who had an equally good command over Hindi and English, will always be remembered for implementing GST and incorporating the railway budget into the general budget. Arun Jaitley also played a crucial organizational role in Bharatiya Janata Party. He played a key role as the national spokesperson of the party as the organization in charge of several states. Arun Jaitley was a long-serving member of the parliamentary board and the Central Election Committee of the Bharatiya Janata Party. His success as the BJP in charge during Bihar Assembly election in 2005 is now a prominent part of party lore. Arun Jaitley, who did not join the cabinet due to health reasons in 2019 in PM Modi's second term, bid goodbye to the world on 24th August at the age of 66. We pay our tributes to him on his first death anniversary. With inputs from Rajesh Raj, Bureau Report, DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Ministers Amit Shah and Prakash Javadekar paid tributes to former Union Minister and senior BJP leader Arun Jaitley on his first death anniversary. Remembering his friend, Narendra Modi tweeted saying, "On this day last year we lost Shri Arun Jaitley ji. I miss my friend a lot. Arun Jaitley ji diligently served India. His wit, intellect, legal acumen and warm personality were legendary. Here is what I had during a prayer meeting in his memory." Prime Minister Modi also shared a video of his speech on Arun Jaitley's prayer meet.
वे सर्व मित्र थे, वे सर्व प्रिय थे और वे अपनी प्रतिभा के कारण, अपने पुरुषार्थ के कारण, अपने प्रभाव के कारण जिसको भी जहां पर भी उपयोगी हो सकते थे वे हमेशा उपयोगी होते थे। अब पल भर के लिए कल्पना कीजिए, मेरे जैसे व्यक्ति का क्या होता होगा जिसने ऐसे प्रतिभावान साथी को खोया होगा, जिसका वर्णन हम लगातार सुन रहे हैं। कितनी बड़ी कमी महसूस होती होगी, शायद उसको शब्दों में मैं वर्णन नहीं कर सकता हूं, लेकिन प्रतिपल अनुभव करता।
Home Minister Amit Shah in his tweet remembered Arun Jaitley as an outstanding politician, prolific orator and a great human being who had no parallels in Indian polity. Shah further said that Jaitley was multifaceted and a friend of friends who will always be remembered for his starring legacy, transformative vision and devotion to nation. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar paid an emotional tribute to former Union Minister Padma Vibhushan Arun Jaitley on his death anniversary. Shifting focus, Congress Working Committee will meet in New Delhi today. During the meeting, the leadership issue is likely to be discussed. Earlier on Sunday, 23 senior Congress leaders have written to Sonia Gandhi, the current in charge of the party, demanding a full-time leader. The letter in question has also stressed on the collective decision-making with Gandhi family as its integral part, and with that, the standing relationship crisis in the Congress coming to the help.
Questions once again being raised over the leadership crisis in the Congress. 23 senior Congress leaders have written to Sonia Gandhi, the current in charge of the party, demanding a full-time leader. Among those leaders, 5 former chief ministers, several members of the Congress Working Committee, current members of parliament and former ministers have written for an overhaul of the organizational structure and changes to the leadership. The letter by former ministers and some MPs was believed to have been written a few weeks ago and sets the stage for a stormy CWC meeting where issues flagged by dissenters are expected to be discussed and debated. These leaders have called for bringing changes in the organization by effecting reforms through decentralization of power and empowerment of state units, besides setting up of the Central Parliamentary Board, a body that existed in the party in the 1970s but was later wound up. The letter in question has also stressed collective decision-making with the Gandhi family as its integral part.
हर जिले का पार्टी आप देखते हैं 3 साल में अध्यक्ष बदल जाता है, फिर बाद में नेहरू जी अध्यक्ष, उसके बाद इंदिरा जी अध्यक्ष, उसके बाद राजीव जी अध्यक्ष, उसके बाद सोनिया जी अध्यक्ष, उसके बाद राहुल जी अध्यक्ष, और राहुल ने छोड़ी तो फिर सोनिया अध्यक्ष। अहमद की टोपी मोहम्मद के सिर, मोहम्मद की टोपी अहमद के सिर। और बाकी कांग्रेस हो गई अनाथ।
The concerns expressed by party leaders in a letter to Sonia Gandhi are serious in nature, and it remains to be seen what the Congress decides on it. With inputs from Ajay Vikram Singh, DD India.
The much-awaited ropeway service from Guwahati to North Guwahati over River Brahmaputra will be opening for the public from today. This is the country's longest river ropeway service, covering a distance of 2 kilometers from the south bank to the north bank of River Brahmaputra, and will cover the distance in 7 minutes. This is also the longest river ropeway in Asia. The beginning of the ropeway service has brought a ray of hope to the residents of North Guwahati. Besides ending the perils of communication, it is expected to boost the tourism in the state. Jammu and Kashmir's Riasi district will soon come up with the world's highest railway bridge. The bridge would be 35 meters taller than Eiffel Tower and 1.3 kilometers long. The bridge will connect Kashmir Valley with Katra in Jammu and the rest of the country. It will also reduce the journey time by 5 to 6 hours from Katra to Srinagar. The bridge, which is being built over the Chenab River, is likely to be completed by August 2022. Riasi district of Jammu and Kashmir, famous for Vaishno Devi Shrine, is expected to get a major uptick in tourism with the highest railway bridge project. The centre has written to state governments and union territories to include all eligible Divyang persons under the National Food Security Act or the NFSA 2013. The Department of Food and Public Distribution has advised all states and union territories to ensure that all Divyang persons who are eligible as per the identification criteria of beneficiaries under the NFSA are covered under the National Food Security Act, and they get their entitled quota of food grains under NFSA and Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana as per provisions of the Act. Those not covered should be covered with fresh ration cards to be issued as per the eligibility criteria. The department reiterated that disability is one of the criteria for inclusion of beneficiaries under the Antodaya Anna Yojana. Households as disabled person are a vulnerable section of the society. The letter further advised that it is imperative that they are also covered by states and union territories under the priority households as per the criteria of identification evolved by them. Well, time now to shift focus and take a look at global updates on COVID-19. Over 2 crore 35 lakh coronavirus cases have been reported worldwide, with more than 8 lakh 12,000 deaths being reported over the world. As many as 1 crore 60 lakh people have also recovered from the virus so far globally. United States remains the worst hit by the pandemic so far, with the highest number of infections. United States has over 58 lakh 74,000 cases of COVID-19, with the death toll now more than 1 lakh 80,000. United States is followed by South American nation Brazil, which has recorded more than 1 lakh 14,000 deaths and over 36 lakhs and 5,000 cases of COVID-19. Mexico remains the third worst hit country in terms of death due to COVID-19, as the country has reported over 60,000 deaths so far. US President Donald Trump has said that the coronavirus treatment with blood plasma donated by COVID-19 recovered patients will be expanded to more people. He said that it's a powerful therapy and had an incredible rate of success. The US Food and Drug Administration confirmed on Sunday that it had cleared blood plasma therapy for use in certain patients. The move would make it easier to receive the treatment. The announcement also came on the eve of the Republican National Convention, where Trump will be nominated to lead the party for 4 more years. Earlier, Trump had accused some health officials of playing politics over the plasma therapy treatment.
I'm pleased to make a truly historic announcement in our battle against the China virus that will save countless lives. The FDA has issued an emergency use authorization, and that's such a powerful term, emergency use authorization for a treatment known as convalescent plasma. This is a powerful therapy. that transfuses very, very strong antibodies from the blood of recovered patients to help treat patients battling a current infection. It's had an incredible rate of success. Today's action will dramatically expand access to this treatment.
Well, some more international news. Former U.S. Vice President and Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden, in an exclusive interview to a news channel, said that as president, he would shut the country down to stop the spread of COVID-19 if the move was recommended to him by the scientists. Biden also criticized what he argued is the fundamental flaw of the Trump administration's response to the coronavirus pandemic, that the nation cannot begin to recover economically until the virus and public health emergency is under control. In the first joint interview with his running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, the former vice president said there will be no new taxes for those earning under 4 lakh US dollars, or 90% of the businesses out there that are mom and pop businesses that employ less than 50 people. US President Donald Trump has approved a disaster declaration for California as the state battles some 24 major wildfires burning across the state. The disaster declaration frees up federal funds to help residents and businesses harmed by the fires in 7 counties and help pay for temporary housing and repairs. The worst of the blazes were burning in and around the San Francisco Bay Area, where more than 2 lakh people have been told to flee their homes. It is now the second largest wildfire on record in the state. Nearly 14,000 firefighters have been deployed to the blazes, and only 17% of the fire could be contained. The northern Gulf Coast is bracing for a rare 1-2 hurricane punch as Laura and Marcos set their sights between Louisiana and East Texas. As twin hurricanes threaten the Caribbean and the U.S. Gulf Coast, U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday called it an unprecedented threat. Hurricane Marco is forecast to hit the Louisiana coast on Monday. It will be followed by tropical storm Laura, now over the Dominican Republic and Haiti and heading towards Cuba. Coastal residents in low-lying areas of Cuba evacuated on Sunday. Laura is expected to strengthen into a hurricane before striking the Gulf Coast on Thursday. Meanwhile, Louisiana Governor John Bell Edwards has warned the state residents that tropical storm force winds would arrive and they should be ready to ride out both Marco and Laura. The National Hurricane Center has forecast National Center forecaster Stacey Stewart has warned on Sunday that back-to-back hurricanes arriving at the U.S. coast within days could result in a prolonged period of hazardous weather. Meanwhile, hearing is underway in the Christchurch court of the Australian gunman who killed 51 Muslim worshippers in New Zealand's worst mass shooting last year in March. Crown Prosecutor Barnaby Hawkes told the court that the gunman had began formulating a plan years earlier and his goal was to inflict as many fatalities as possible. He gathered information about mosques in New Zealand with an aim of targeting them at the time they would be busiest. He also planned to target the Ashburton Mosque in addition to the Al Noor Mosque and Linwood Islamic Center. Tarrant has pleaded guilty to 51 counts of murder, 40 attempted murders and 1 charge of terrorism. He faces life in prison, possibly without parole, a sentence never before imposed in New Zealand. The March 2019 attack set shockwaves around the world and prompted New Zealand to make swift changes to its gun laws. An explosion on the Arab gas pipeline has caused a total blackout in Syria this morning. According to the Syrian minister, the explosion occurred between the Al-Dumair and Adra areas in Syria. Syria's oil minister said that the explosion could be a terrorist act. On to sports, Bayern Munich defeated Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 in a tightly contested UEFA Champions League final in Lisbon to claim the crown for the 6th time. Paris-born Kingsley Coman scored the only goal just before the hour as Bayern made it 11 out of 11 wins in the competition this season. It was a night of joy for Bayern coach Hansi Flick, who added the Champions League to the Bundesliga after initially taking over as interim coach from sacked Niko Kovac in November. In contrast, it was a night of bitter disappointment for PSG's two attacking superstars Neymar and Kylian Mbappe. With this, Bayern become the first team to win every UEFA Champions League match en route to the title and were the first unbeaten champions since Manchester United in 2007-2008 season. In a bid to promote women's football at the grassroots level, Rebels FC launched a girls' football academy. The full-fledged residential football program, integrated with educational pursuits, is located at a sprawling campus in Bengaluru. Here's more in this report.
When it comes to football, India does not figure too high in the list. When it comes to women's football, it is an even more dire situation. But that was until now. The growth has been seemingly unstoppable in the last few seasons. To start off, women's national team spectacularly lifted the 2019 SAF Cup, brushing off every opponent with extreme ease and grace. The dominance of the team in the tournament was staggering and pocketed the trophy for a record 5th time. India is also going to host the Under-17 Women's FIFA World Cup. There is no doubt that the Under-17 squad will look to create history and do better than what their male counterparts could do in the men's Under-17 FIFA World Cup. Keeping all that in mind, Rebel FC launched the Girls Football Academy. The full-fledged residential football program, integrated with educational pursuit, is located at a sprawling campus in Bengaluru.
The vision of the RFC Girls Residential Academy is basically to provide the platform to all the girls out there.
Premier football training destination is open to under 13 to under 22 youth from all socio-economic backgrounds, offering them an international level of training program. The academy has world-class infrastructure, which includes a full-size football field, training pitch, swimming pool and a gym for a sports science-driven curriculum. Additionally, the academy has tied up with India's foremost talent scouting firms to ensure that athletes get a shot at professional football and placement opportunities across the football ecosystem. Taposh Bhattacharya's report, TG India.
Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of news. But remember to follow physical distancing when you're out there on the street. Also wearing your face mask at all times. Washing your hands every 20 minutes, if not possible, using a hand sanitizer to keep yourself clean, because we all need to see a better tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Take care.